In terms of the process of trying to lengthen you out this year, get you up to, I guess, starter innings, multiple innings. How much at the end of last season and like that 4 inning appearance against Louisiana Tech help you sort of figure out what works best for you to get into that space where you're physically prepared to pitch, 4 or 5 innings?
Yeah, that was probably the exact outing that me and the coaches kind of looked back at after the season to just kind of look at and realize, that I could do it and really extend. Helped me convince them that I could extend and potentially start here, and then just going into the summer, working on the changeup. The changeup worked really well that night, and then just commanding the fastball, taking the velo up on the fastball, getting stronger from July to now, adding some weight to where I'm more physical, and be able to hold the velo, hold the stuff throughout an outing.
What goes into the mindset as far as why? Why do you want to be a starter here? You have such a defined, or had such a defined role that you were really excelling at, right? So like, what made you want to change?
Yeah, multiple things made me want to go down that path, but one of them is just versatility. If you're built up and you have the stamina to pitch 7 innings, it's very easy to peel back and kind of go back into a closer role where I'm throwing an inning or two a weekend. That would never be an issue if I'm built up and physical enough to be a starter. So being a closer and having the short innings is kind of like a fallback plan where it'd be easy to go back into that role. But, just really not trying to limit myself this year. Even, if I was to slide into a role like Griffin was last year where he's throwing a lot of innings, chewing up a lot of innings out of the pen, really just trying to open it up and do whatever the team needs me to do. And there wouldn't be any limitations to it.
I'm sure if you entered the portal, you would have had opportunities, maybe guaranteed opportunities to start at other programs. What made you maybe want to come back and continue to, hammer it out here and see if you can accomplish that as a Tiger?
Yeah. There was never really an option of going anywhere. This is where I came out of high school. I wasn't running from any kind of competition or any kind of challenges. I chose here because it was the best place in college baseball to play baseball. And, when you commit to a place like this, you're also committing to the challenges that come with it. And, in a time of college sports where kind of transferring is like the easier thing, and not that it's necessarily a bad thing if people do transfer. I think that also gets kind of a bad rap sometimes. But I think it's easier to transfer at times, and I think sticking it out in the long run is going to help me. Even if I don't get what I want now, I think it's going to help me in the long run in professional baseball.
Gavin, how would you describe your first 2 years? Like a while ago, Jared said, hey, I'm a freshman. I win a national championship right out of the box, and then real good team last year. They came up a little bit short, but how would you kind of digest the first 2 years being here and what you need to do moving forward?
Yeah. You kind of prepared for everything now, right? I've gone through a lot in the last 2 years as a individual and as a team. I've experienced playing with like the best team you could possibly play for, right? Just loaded with talent, loaded with dudes. Freshman class was loaded. The juniors were loaded. We had fifth-year guys who were really good. And so I've been able to be a part of a team that knew how to navigate that and kind of the blueprint. And then I've also been part of a team who was really good and struggled really like a lot throughout conference play. And then we were able to come out on the back end of it. So I've been able to go through that now. And then going into year 3, it's just kind of having those experiences under my belt. And, whatever we face this year, trying to help the guys that haven't been through it get through it. Because there's always you're going to come in on the other side of it for sure.
Just being a Louisiana kid, getting to wear number 8, I guess, for this program, what does that mean to you?
Yeah. It means everything to me. Guys like Mikey Matuk and all the guys that have worn it before me. And just what it resembles as an LSU baseball player, being the guy where you're kind of in the locker room and your job is just to show up with the mentality of an LSU baseball player. That's like my job of wearing number 8, in my opinion. It's not to be the leader or me to tell people what to do or make sure guys are looking at me. It's my job is to show up every day, not make excuses, show up every day and compete my tail off and set an example for the younger kids on what that looks like.
Not sure what you've been able to see from him because he's only been here for basically a semester, but William Schmidt, just physically, mentally, or even around the locker room, what have you seen from the freshman?
Yeah. I mean, Schmidt's going to be legit. Just loaded with talent. The stuff is off the charts. Obviously, I mean, he's a freshman. You know, he's going to have to learn. He's going to have to grow. And, yeah, as long as he's open to that, it's going to be a really, really fun 3 years for y'all to watch, for sure.
Physically, how have you gone about preparing going into this sort of larger role this offseason?
Yeah. Started off, I mean, pretty much right when the season ended, whenever we had the conversations with me and Coach Johnson and Coach Yeski about potentially extending and potentially starting. And it just went straight into, I went to Arizona for about a month and a half, 2 months to go train at Driveline, to go figure some things out mechanically, to start moving more efficiently. It was a strength program. I went through multiple blocks, different goals. Some of them were, power based, trying to create more force. Some of them were to build stamina. Some of them were to move faster, be more explosive, just different things. And yeah, I mean, really just a 6, 7, 8 month window of opportunity is the way I looked at it. You know what I mean? There was a lot of time to grow, a lot of time to get better. And it was just about diving in and figuring out what I could do to get better.
Daniel Dickinson, home run hitter, can hit it all over the yard. We've heard that he's pretty aggressive, but facing him in the box, what is it like going up against him?
Yeah, me and Danny are really, really close, really good friends. We hang out at my girlfriend's house pretty much every single night and cook dinner over there and hang out. So he's really, really fun to be around, really good dude. And yeah, I would say that his personality on the baseball field is very similar to mine, just as a position player, not a pitcher. I mean, he shows up to the field to win and to compete. There's no fear when he's playing. He's not playing standoffish by any means at all. And, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch this year. I can't wait because it's kind of what I told Jamie and Coach Johnson this at the beginning of the fall was like, him as a player is kind of like what I wanted to be as a position player when I was here. And then obviously like it didn't work out for me and I get to pitch now. But it's going to be fun to watch because that's just kind of how I saw myself playing as an LSU Tiger. So being able to sit in the dugout or pitch and have him behind me and watching him compete is going to be really fun for me.
If you move into more of that extended innings role, you might need a guy to step into that closer kind of spot, especially in the Friday, Saturday games, whatever it is. Are there any people that have kind of flashed that could serve in that kind of position if need be?
In what role?
Like closing the game, the last inning or two?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Schmidt's one of them for sure. Just throws really hard. The breaking balls wipe out. It's not a lot of times where you see a freshman come in and just have a put-away pitch at the level that his is. Kason Evans is another one. I know it's naming off 2 freshmen, which it's usually a role that is not handed to freshmen. But Kason Evans is another one. Throws hard, has a wipeout slider, wipeout changeup. Really competitive kid. I mean, I don't want to limit anybody to a certain role or put any tags on anything. It's not really my job. Just from the position that I've been in before, and kind of having a good relationship with Coach Johnson. Those are 2 guys that really stand out to me for sure, just the way their stuff is and how they compete.
When you take the mound, your presence is, I think, felt by all as very domineering, very powerful. What kind of goes into your mindset when you take the mound and then when you're battling with a guy at the plate? Maybe he's taking a bunch of foul balls. What goes through your mind when you're battling with somebody at the plate?
Yeah, just not giving in. That's the biggest thing, not giving in, kind of stepping up to the challenge. You prepare a lot for 12 months out of the year. Really, every single day it's a grind to get to go out there and compete. And in my opinion, real competitors, guys who really love to compete, don't really like things being easy, especially on the field. I love a challenge. I love whenever dudes are up there competing against me, giving me their best shot. So whenever dudes are fighting like that, it's fun for me.
With your velocity and shape of the fastball, how's that improved since the end of last year?
Yeah, I would say the shape of my fastball was always pretty good. Always had pretty good amount of carry on it, and was able to pitch up in the zone with it. It was really for me more about taking the velo up, which it's ticked up some, and then commanding it better was always the thing for me going into this year. Being able to pitch up in the zone and keep it at the top of the zone, and just control my misses better. Keep it all around the strike zone, and just be able to pitch ahead in counts with it, and be able to go to it like above the zone with 2 strikes. Just being able to really use it whenever I wanted.
So Gage had Tommy John surgery, came back, had a pretty remarkable season last year. Chase is now in that same position, and there's no guarantee coming back from an injury that you'll come back and dominate. Do you see kind of similarities, though, at this point, leading into the season, that he could do some of those same things?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Shores works really, really hard. I mean, obviously, y'all got to see him pitch for a little bit his freshman year. Super gifted. The stuff is off the charts. The character's really, really good. Character's off the charts. Great teammate. And, I mean, it's an easy guy to root for, honestly, just being in the locker room with him. The way he handled his injury from the inside. I know y'all didn't get to really be around it that much, but the way he handled it in the dugout whenever he wasn't playing, it's something that's really hard and really difficult to handle. And, I mean, he never flinched, really, from the day that it happened. He was always on the top step, rooting guys on whenever he couldn't play. And, yeah, I mean, like you said, there's always a kind of a mystery coming back. But, I mean, he's looked amazing every outing throughout the fall. The stuff's coming out really well. Throwing strikes. He's working on some stuff, trying to improve, obviously. But, I mean, I think he's in a great position going into the season for sure.
How much does Coach Yeski coming back help the staff, right? Like we've seen new coach. How much are you guys able to maybe take that next step because he's not, breaking in a new message?
Yeah. I would just say consistency, right? That's probably the biggest thing when it comes to college athletes or just really trying to be an elite athlete is being able to be consistent. I mean, I would say kind of seeing the same faces every day is kind of the same thing, hearing the same messages, hearing it being talked about and said in the same ways, the same language, you know what I mean? Every coach has a different language, and just being able to have the same language 2 years in a row and hearing Coach Yeski say the same things, and, you kind of get a better understanding of what he's talking about going into year 2. And, yeah, I mean, just being able to go from the beginning of last year to getting better throughout the season and then not having to kind of reset, right? Being able to build off of the end of last year and going into this year is definitely a big help for sure.
A lot of right-handed arms for you guys in that staff this year. How important is it has Yeski made an emphasis to really develop your changeups or some sort of other pitch to combat all these potential left-handed hitters you guys are going to be facing as righties?
Yeah, for sure. We do. We are a really heavy right-handed pitcher as a staff, but I would say that at the same time, it's a very deep staff. It's a very we have, I mean, I don't know the exact number, like 21, 22 guys, something like that, but everyone's really, really different. We have a lot of guys who can sink the ball. We have some guys with really, really power change-ups, which I don't know if we had really anybody that had, I would say, like a power change-up, like a punch-up pitch as a change-up last year. We have multiple guys with those this year. We have guys that throw cutters, firm cutters. We have guys that throw big sweepers, big curveballs, sliders. I mean, really just kind of everything across the board. And then obviously the 4 or 5 lefties that we do have thrown really, really well this fall. And then going into the spring, they've looked really good. So those 4 or 5 guys are going to be big for us in the staff. And then, I mean, like I said, the right-handed arms really developing change-ups is going to be big for us as well.
just in the fall and early stuff here, anybody giving you troubles at the plate as far as their approach, and who's kind of stood out to you?
Yeah. I would say, so we've only had one live AB session, and then we're starting this weekend in the inter squads. But, I mean, I would say in the fall, Derek Curiel was tough, really, really good hitter. He wasn't super dangerous as far as power goes. It's just every single pitch he was on. He never missed a pitch. He didn't chase, and then if you made a mistake, he made you pay. You know what I mean? Like he gonna hit a line drive in the gap. He was gonna hit a ball in the barrel. It seemed like every time he swung, it was on the barrel. So he's one, and then Jake Brown is another one. A guy for me that I faced in the fall, and I can think of 2 at bats where like he got a hit off of me, and I kind of like after the pitch just scratching my head on like how I throw an 0-0 changeup to lead a game off in one of the outings, an 0-0 changeup first pitch of the game, and he hit a double, and I was just like, all right, like that's insane to me that he hit an 0-0 changeup for a double. So just things like that. I mean, really good athlete, really adjustable. So it's gonna be fun to watch this year.
From a catching standpoint, does it feel like you have more depth this year? I know last year Brady was injured for some of the season, so it was really Alex and Hayden, and not really sure after that. Does it feel a little bit more stable this season?
Yeah, I would say that the catchers, there's a lot of tools back there, a lot of different kind of guys. You know, you have Aaron Beatty, who's a freshman, who's completely tooled out. You have big bats. You have dudes who can really hit, dudes who can really catch. They all have good arms. And then just building a relationship with all 4 of them has really been the biggest thing. They've really, just from being 4 new guys, they've really done a good job throughout the fall of wanting to catch bullpens and asking us, you know, when we're throwing to reach out to us and help us get our work done so that they could build a relationship with us and get closer to us and understand kind of how our process works and everything. And yeah, I mean, I think those 4 guys are going to be rotated throughout the season, and all 4 of them are going to play a vital role in this team for sure. Thank y'all.